Please remain standing for a moment of silence for the sick, the handicapped, the recently departed, and military personnel of our community. Roll call.
Mr. Henderson?
Here.
Mr. Petroselli?
Here.
Mr. Wassamo? Here. Mr. Gallarducci?
Here.
Mr. Verducci? Here. Mr. Krzyzowski?
Here.
Ms. Simroli? Mayor Copeland? Here. Solicitor McDermott?
Here.
Engineer Brett? Here. I'm Joe Power. Chief King?
Here.
Chief Castain?
Here.
And Chief Tony.
Here. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. First up is public comment. I have Deb Colosimo.
We get the mayor mad at me, but I really don't care. Whereas the House of Representatives of Pennsylvania is always pleased to recognize those individuals who, through their wisdom and experience, have contributed to the enrichment and betterment of succeeding generations. And whereas Mayor Betty Copeland is being recognized upon the momentous occasion of celebrating her birthday, she can tell you. And whereas, born in Boston, Massachusetts, on March 14, 19, Mayor Copeland has demonstrated the highest ideals of citizenship throughout the years and truly deserves special recognition. She moved to Bridgeville, Pennsylvania in 1952 after meeting and marrying her husband, the late Curtis Copeland, who was a lifelong resident of Bridgeville. They met in Massachusetts while he was in the Navy. She is the proud mother of 3 children and also has been blessed with 2 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. Betty is an avid New England Patriots fan. She enjoys spending time with her family and also creating latchhook rugs. Mayor Copeland has faithfully served her community and is a true asset to the people of the borough of Bridgeville. Now therefore, as representative of the 45th Legislative District, it is with great honor that I pay tribute to Mayor Betty Copeland upon the joyous celebration of her birthday, noting with appreciation that she has generously contributed to the well-being of others and offering best wishes for every future happiness. Anita Astorino Kulik, State Representative, Pennsylvania House of Representatives, 45th Legislative District. Happy birthday. She can tell you how old she was.
Everybody should remember, I'm going to be 89.
Happy birthday, Mayor.
Happy birthday.
Thank you for the beautiful card as well as signed by everyone.
Next up, Bob Corner.
Evening, everyone. Far back to follow there. I wanted to address, or at least bring up the item number 5 on the agenda, which is the motion to adopt ordinance 1030. Maybe I'm a little confused or don't have the information all right. When I was here at the Planning Commission 2 weeks ago, I was under the impression that that ordinance was more on the side of rental properties, but it looks, after reading the I guess it's the code, it's for all properties in general. Is that correct?
I can address that, because I do
Properties
understand.
in Bridgeville that
I
go
got it.
in structural.
I get it. I understand that the Planning Commission, among other things, has been discussing possible rental registration type ordinances. This has nothing to do with those discussions.
This has nothing to do with that?
No. This is simply an update of what we've had on the books for as long as I know, which is the property maintenance code, just your general property
And that
maintenance
reads
codes.
thorough and all in good faith and good.
And
I like the wording.
We currently, in most municipalities, they adopt by reference, basically, the International Property Maintenance Code, which is what's known for its United States born instrument. It's basically the publisher publishes a model code. It's used by virtually every municipality in Allegheny County, most of the state.
It looks like a standard, some adaptation.
They update it every 3 years, and you have the option to update it every 3 years. And most of their updates are kind of keeping up with case law, due process, those sort of changes, best practices. We have not adopted a new one since the 2000 edition, which I believe we may have adopted in 2012 or 15. On my recommendation, simply was an update that I've done around my other client municipalities as well, adopting the 2018 more current edition of it.
Okay, I like that take on it, rather than just rental properties at this point, because I do feel it's well-written and there's some properties that need addressed. I just don't know.
Yeah. And that's not a new ordinance, that's kind of, like I said, an update. It's like the latest Britannica we're adopting, and I do have some specific clarifications that I added to the ordinance, not substantive changes or any specifications, but just clarifying the remedies for enforcement. But this is, like I said, it's a generic property maintenance code that all municipalities.
If the other matter comes up, will it be brought up the same way, the matter of rental property inspection that was brought up at the planning commission?
Yeah, and generally speaking, rental registration and inspection ordinances, they actually will cross-reference other ordinances like that. They usually set up for, as a condition of being a landlord or somebody who has that sort of establishment, it sets up registration, you have to register and subject to an initial and maybe periodic, some do every 3 years, some do, you know.
That would be written different than this.
Yeah, that would be a rental registration ordinance, and they're not proctological in nature, okay, to the extent that.
The reason I bring it up is because there's a lot of different circumstances with rental property, and I don't know if everybody knows that it isn't just the landlord, it's also the tenant. It's his property, their property, her property, whatever the pronoun is, that you have to get permission to enter to inspect. I haven't rented properties in the borough here for 100 lease years for the 30 years that I've had property. And I've had more issues with the tenants than with anything, and there's already, and I know I'm getting off track with the ordinance, but before the rental ordinance gets written, I think it should be brought up and then looked at and then discussed and then advanced.
I'm sure will be.
Just to ease your mind, we had a conversation as a group, and when we discussed it in some detail a month ago. That said, we're prepared to table it this evening. There's some folks that want to discuss it a little further, and so we've been.
Give me an example. I'm just trying to make this a little brief, but there's already a system in place. I've had it, like I say, 100 lease years of properties, 5 at one time, and I've had to evict. I wish maybe the borough would help out with people paying rent rather than some of the other. That's what we need. But I've evictions 3 times for property damage or non-payment. But the process that's already in place is with the county health department. I've gone through that once, and that was an ordeal. And that's plenty to deal with rather than having another entity looking over your shoulder, so to speak. The ordeal was, and I just want to give you an example, a tenant who was smoking in their room with a humidifier on complained of mold. So the health department came in and wrote the tenant up, and it wasn't really mold, it was just condensation from the fan and everything. Meanwhile, they have access to the whole place then, and I had 9 violations, 8 of which I fixed that night, because they were wall cover plates, electrical wire nuts and what have you, because I was doing some work, fixed those. The last one took me 3 months to resolve. It was a heating problem that nobody had ever complained about, because it was built in 1917, and I have radiator heat. And you're supposed to have, according to 1969, have a heat source in every apartment, every room. You can't have that if it's built in 1917. So anyhow, you can get overboard with some regulations, is what I'm getting at here.
No, we appreciate it. I mean, I think there's, like I said, there's some folks up here that want to talk about it a little more in detail and address some of the things that you're talking about.
Yeah, this one with the property, and there's some places that need looked at, cleaned up, I agree with it. So it's not that, it's just rental property. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
That's it on the list, right?
All right, get on with the regular order of business. I need a motion to approve February 13th, 2023 regular meeting minutes as submitted. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the March 2023 bill list.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Need a motion to approve the March 17th, 24th, 31st, and April 7th payrolls. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? The motion carries. Need a motion to adopt ordinance number 1029, an ordinance of the Borough of Bridgeville, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, amending the Borough or Bridgeville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 15, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Part 4, General Parking Regulations, 15-402, that is parking prohibited at all times in certain locations, specifically repealing certain prior parking prohibited locations and establishing updated parking prohibited locations on Bank Street, Eisner Avenue, and Station Street. Do you want to just briefly talk about what we're doing here?
I would, maybe the chief would do that. It's no change in anything.
I know, so we're repealing and,
Yes.
yeah. Can you touch on that a little bit, Chief, what we've done?
On the Bank Street issue, parking?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, we had several ordinances that contradicted one another for parking on Bank Street, let alone signs that used to say 3-hour parking only, which have since been removed, but we never had an ordinance for. We had ordinances that contradicted themselves. One ordinance said that there was to be no parking on Bank Street either side of the road from Dewey Avenue to the borough line, which would be all the way to St. Clair, meaning you can't park on Bank Street. And then we had a separate ordinance that listed certain areas on Bank Street that you weren't allowed to park. So we eliminated the one that would have eliminated parking altogether and cleaned it up a bit. We reworded the one area, I think near, may have been near Elizabeth Street, between Elizabeth and the alley that runs behind Elm Street, because you have issues with crosswalks there. So that short portion on the bend, I don't think we have parking there anymore, which nobody really did anyway, but it was only a short portion. And then up near Winfield, from Winfield to Lesnett and Chartiers, we've allowed parking on the right-hand side from in front of the Winfield Apartments for that span in that area. We still are restricting bus parking though in that area because that does create vision issues for any cars coming in and out of the Winfield Apartments.
Okay. Yeah, I think, is that, anybody up here have any more questions about that? Okay. So I need a motion to pass that ordinance. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. We're going to entertain a motion to table. Number 5. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Yeah. Okay, motion on the floor to table number 5, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Need a motion to approve and grant the Borough Earned Income Tax Credit for year 2022 in accordance with Chapter 24 of the Bridgeville Code of Ordinances, Part 1, Section 111, Tax Credits for Volunteer Firefighters of the Bridgeville Volunteer Fire Department for the eligible and active members as recommended by the Fire Chief.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. How many years have we been doing that, Chief? 3 years, yeah. Good stuff. Need a motion to to enter into agreement with Calvin Associates Incorporated for actuarial services to the Police Pension Fund for the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2024.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries. Need a motion to authorize the execution of the lease agreement with the Bridgeville Athletic Association for the Chartiers Park concession stand for the 2023 seasons.
I so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to authorize a disbursement of $76,938.04 from the sewer fund toward Cirrus Enterprises for partial payment number 2, final of the backwater valve contract phase number 5. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to accept, pay any commission due February 2023 real estate tax collector report.
So moved. Second.
Opposed, or all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to acknowledge receipt of the February 2023 treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to accept all submitted February 2023 official reports. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, committee reports, administration, Nick.
I have nothing to report this time, thank you.
Any questions for Nick? Okay, finance, Joe.
Really not much to report. Annual reports were submitted for the county recycling and the floodplain reports. We did have a few larger expenses this coming past month, but they're normal ones. The one for the outfit for the emergency lighting company, as well as the other, our annual assessment to the Chartiers Valley Flood Authority. So other than that, normal expenses that went through the month, and everything is still running smoothly. All I have.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe? All right, Parks and Rec, Joe Colosimo.
Nothing really to report, everything's, as far as parks, equipment's coming in, hopefully get Chartiers installed this spring, and the other two parks play run equipment in the summer times, but that's about it, everything's in process. That's all I have.
Thanks, Joe. Any questions for Joe? Public Works, Nino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bill Bott, our former public worker, retired as Friday, March the 10th. We wish him happy retirement, obvious. 15 applications been submitted for the new position. Public Works Committee tonight at 6 o'clock, we went through with all of them. And we start in the review next week, next Tuesday, I believe, right? And we'll replace as soon as possible. Well, let me give you a little good news on the salt. We save a lot of money on salt this year. So far.
Nobody's stealing that?
Our order was 850 tons, and we only used 289. So
It ain't over.
it's quite a save there, but we don't always have to April, May, of course. Other than that, there'll be just a regular service, the public work done, street sign, et cetera, and councilman has my report. So other than that, I can't add anything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Nino. Any questions for Public Works?
There's an important message in there that I think we need to realize is that salt contract, we're obligated to 80% of that contract.
Exactly.
So we may be happy that we're not salting roads, but we're still on the hook for that, to buy 80% of that contract.
Sure, that's it.
So it's either two things. One, we store it here and the conditions aren't optimal, or we have to pay a surcharge to Cargill, and that has yet to be determined on what that surcharge fee is. So I think we still are on the hook for about 300 ton, give or take. So 300 ton times $90 a ton is still a considerable sum. Yeah, so it will be good for next year's budget, because hypothetically, the contract won't be for 850 tons, which is $90,000 worth of rock salt. It will be much lower. So next year, we will feel the cushion. It's definitely for 24. This year, you're not off the hook.
Well, I don't know, it's too bad that we don't have enough room to, it'll be a good investment to save all that money and to go ahead to stay on our allegation that we normally have, but there's something that we have to figure out how we're gonna divide this.
It's coming. We'll make it work. That's it.
We're putting in
between
your
you
driveway.
and, yes, thank you, that's a good place.
I did hear today is the anniversary of the blizzard of '93.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
It's not over, thank you, that's what I mean. Thank you, Joe.
Shane, did you have something?
I was just gonna, right up by Critchfield in Missouri, there's a couple of those, somebody has some parking blocks in the middle of their yard. One fell out, I don't know if someone hit it. I tried to move it, it was stuck. I don't know if that's something the Public Works would take a look at tomorrow. It's right by your house. I just see a vehicle or truck clipping it.
Yeah, that's right around the corner, I seen that today.
I just saw it today, I don't know if someone hit it with a, well, it wasn't a plow blade, obviously.
It's in the yard.
It's now in the street. Someone's gonna clip, I tried to move it, I couldn't move
It's
it.
right across from Nino's house.
It might be personal.
I don't know,
Because I took a lady home today.
never
and
seen it.
I
Well,
forgot
that,
about it, yeah.
It's, no, right on that corner of Missouri and Critchfield, you make the right, there's like three of them. And
There
it
were
looks like
stones
someone
and
hit
people
one.
don't run over them.
Yeah, it's right on the corner. Like I said, I got out, tried to move it, I couldn't move it, so.
We'll get our public works out.
well, I can hardly drive my car, so I don't
I
have.
don't want you hitting it. My savings is there.
Maybe, maybe it's under the, public safety, chief, you want to take a look at him, or you want us public work to do that?
We can write up after the meeting.
Or fireman? You guys gonna take care of that?
No, we can do that tomorrow morning. If anything, if the night shift can drop a cone,
Yeah.
we'll take care of it.
Thank you.
I didn't notice it this morning when I was up there, so what time did you notice it?
I just noticed it coming down tonight.
Okay,
That's
It
all,
was
yeah.
about 11 o'clock that I went to a customer home on Critchfield, so it was out, one of them was laying out there.
It's weird how it got hit or struck.
Thanks, Shane. Public safety, Bruce Gilligan.
I don't have anything, sir.
Any questions for public safety?
Yes. We discussed a two more sign, and you know where I mean, on top of Presley. There are two signs now, but I mentioned to public safety to look at. That's very dangerous coming from Presto up the hill there, through the church, left of the church, you come, very, very bad intersection. Of course, that's PennDOT Road over there, so I encourage the public safety to give them a really a good look of their area. The traffic gets heavy over there, and we do have two stop signs, and Joe knows that very well. You know where I'm talking about, top of Presley. I think public safety should definitely look that area a little more closer.
Didn't we have, PennDOT actually looked at it and said no, didn't they?
That was with regard, I believe, to the question whether you could put a stop sign.
Is that what you
It's
said?
it's not an intersection.
We discussed that like about
Yeah.
a year ago.
Yeah, but we didn't do anything about it.
PennDOT
Yeah,
remarked
I
about
thought the committee just wasn't in favor of it, is what I thought it came on, but I don't remember.
I think it should be revisited and start the wheel again.
Nina, where would you put a stop sign?
I don't know.
Other than information.
I don't get it.
We
I don't know
You
where
either want to go now Presley, you need to stop sign there.
Going up the hill, you wanna put a stop sign?
No.
You can't do that.
Well,
I think that, if I recall, anecdotally, the conclusion was that you could not put a stop sign there, it doesn't mean that it's not an intersection. By revisit, perhaps there are other signage, warnings, other measures that could be taken. But I do believe the conclusion was that that's not an intersection, you can't put a stop sign.
Yeah, Joe had addressed that with PennDOT, and they came back and said, we can't do that.
Right.
So it was
maybe some other kind of measure on the
dangerous,
road, or
dangerous
some
turn
other
or something,
signage or
'cause
something.
it has the turn with the lines going on.
Okay,
But, okay, we'll.
Try to
I'll talk
revisit
to you,
that.
Joe.
Can I just add something? It may not be applicable or relevant to this conversation. I'm throwing it out there anyway. On Presley, it looks like the road is caving in and collapsing. So,
Where at?
just past, I believe where that house was torn down recently, or in that same area, the guardrail looks like the whole side of the
It
hill.
would be on the right side.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
Sounds like it's in Collier Township. past
No,
that.
yeah, it's in Bridgeville, it's
No,
not
it's
that. Oh, yeah, it is called. It's right before the church, yeah. Yes, yes. Yeah, okay, I know.
Thank you. Mayor, Betty Copeland.
On Friday, I went to the Masala House, which was formerly the Blaze Space. They had an opening. I introduced myself to one of the owners and told him I wanted to welcome them to the community, and then he had asked me to stay for the ribbon cutting, which I did along with a couple of the wives and the children. And fortunately for me, Troy Bogdan was there. He took photos, and he also told me what I should select on the menu, since I was trying to avoid really spicy things. But they were very nice to me. I was surprised a lot of people were coming in, and so they were welcome to the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for doing that. Police Chief, Chad King.
No report for the month of February. It was rather slow going. March, on the other hand, is going to start off with a bang. But the only message I want to send everybody is keep your car doors locked, keep your house locked, the windows locked. If you have a lock on it, lock it.
Yeah, thank you. If you don't know, there was an incident this morning that the police department quickly resolved. There was a couple attempted break-ins, and the police department resolved it with an arrest, and the person's in jail. So, thank you. Appreciate what you guys do.
Is there any chance that that's associated with the break-in, no?
The car injuries?
Yeah.
No, two separate related
Okay.
issues. We have an arrest pending in those also.
Oh,
Thank you for this morning.
Yeah, it was quick.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions for police chief? Solicitor, Tom McDermott.
Thanks. The only thing I would add to my great report, which I neglected to update, was that we did record all of the 10 or dozen or so Phase 6 backflow agreements. So whatever the timing is on that, we're waiting for the last two to come back. So we're not getting deed this week, but they can go ahead.
Any start date on that?
We have our pre-construction meeting with the contractor on Friday, so I'll update you later this week.
Thank you. Borough Engineer, Kevin Brett.
Nothing additional to our report dated March 8th, but I can address any questions.
We have a schedule for Bank Street?
The contractor has to coordinate with the phone companies now.
I know that's the landslide. Bank Street is a PennDOT project.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They told us that it's part of a group paving project that Melee will be doing, the same contractor that paved our streets last year, that once they finish up some drainage work on Broughton Road, they're coming to Bridgeville. But aside from that, they didn't give a specific update. Their press office did say that once they get, I guess, a clearer picture on a timeline, they'll put out a press release and get it to us so that we can keep you guys informed. But that's really all we know is that end of the month they're coming to they finish drainage work.
It'll be done this year.
Oh, yeah, I bet you it would be done by early summer.
Yeah.
Bobby?
Yeah, does that work entail base repair or just an overlay?
I believe it entails base repair, but I don't know the whole scope. It's a PennDOT project. Yeah.
Catch basins or anything like that?
Yeah, they're doing drainage work, yeah.
If they don't do concrete base repair, the overlay won't last 5 years. It'll just crack.
Okay, as Joe said, it's a PennDOT scope project, so we're in the dark usually
Yeah.
when.
Joe, you and I can, if you talk after.
I understand it, but it's not a project. I can't do anything for you, you know, with all due respect, it's their project. I'm fairly certain, because we expressed the same concern, is that it's a concrete roadway, we'd like to see it concrete. And they said, no, it will be asphalt. To what extent, I don't know. I just know that there's municipal utilities in there that were under contract, that part of this project, that will have manholes and stuff that are taken care of through them, storm and sanitary, and then we're doing the bump outs as part of their ADA improvements. But their full scope, I don't think we're gonna be able to change anything. So I'll gladly meet with you, Mr. Colmeyer, but I don't believe I'll be able to advocate to change the scope of a contract that's already awarded. That's all I wanted to.
Yeah, it gets confused, I would imagine too, with the Chartier Street bridge work, because that is the detour.
That's next year.
What, the bridge?
No, the bridge is looking like it will be tentatively next month, but they haven't confirmed that yet.
So you have
We're
Bank
certainly
Street
not
and
gonna
Chartier
overlap
same
those
time.
two projects, right?
Oh my God.
I hate to be on the hot seat for PennDOT. I do not know anything. I am the middleman, so I do not know.
Listen, those of us that live between those two might actually like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I wish I really had your details. I apologize. I just know that, yeah, it is coming. That's all I know.
you have a question?
Yeah, aside from the construction that's gonna be done on Bank and Chartiers, possibly simultaneously, the residents that live in that vicinity have a hard enough time getting out on the bank now because no one obeys the speed limit. And now you're gonna have the construction in. Is there gonna be a visibility that we residents can get through our own community? Because the traffic that's coming through now is gonna be bottlenecked. We're gonna be stuck in our own little,
Well, as Joe
Separate.
said, PennDOT's
yeah.
running.
No,
We
I
won't know
understand
until
PennDOT's
we're
right now, but knowing that this project's coming, are we gonna have virtual police there to help guide us all through this?
You know, I'm sure PennDOT's project, they'll have some traffic control, right?
The work's not on Chartier Street.
Okay.
We're talking the South Bridge will be replaced tentatively in April.
Yeah, Chartiers isn't gonna happen, I don't even think it's gonna happen this year.
No, it's 24, 25. It's not this year.
Speaking of the Chartiers project, and I'm not going anywhere with this, but there's a valid lane open. Are they gonna ever take away those cones so it can actually be used?
You need a bridge.
Huh?
You need the bridge.
You go across the
You
bridge and
don't.
there's a lane.
No, they're not going to do it until the bridge is replaced.
Okay. Thank you.
And how about Werner Avenue? I see, President of Werner Avenue, where we at with that?
Road lines, electric lines are moved, phone communication need to move, so it's progressive.
Okay, we're waiting a while there, John. Anything else for the engineer? All right, Fire Chief.
Thank you, Council President. Month of February, we had 49 calls. Upcoming events, we have 2 fish fries left. They are March 24th and April 7th. We're pleased to announce that our first fish fry, we sold more fish in one night than we ever have in the past. And we attribute that probably to the fact that we weren't able to have them last year, but everybody was looking forward to our fish fries coming back. So hopefully we have that same support on the last 2. And last but not least, April 1st at 11 a.m. is the Easter egg hunt. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief? All right, Southbridge EMS, Dan Miller.
Nothing to report.
Thanks, Dan. Historical Society, Mary, you have anything for Mary?
Historical Society program for March 28th, 7:30 at the Chartiers Room will be The Life and Times of Alexander Hamilton, presented by Jack Puglisi.
Yeah. Thank you. Library representative.
Yeah, we have some upcoming programs for adults in the next week and a half. So on this Saturday, we have storyteller Alan Irvine, and he's presenting Irish Folktales, Legends, and Myths. That's Saturday at 11. And then on Monday, we're working with Representative Kulik's office. Monday, March 20th at 12:30. If you need property tax or rent rebates, they're doing a workshop at the library. And then the following Saturday, March 25th, we're doing a tree identification hike at Settlers Cabin Park. So those are all over the next week and a half for adults if you're interested. And then otherwise, we have 2 open board positions, so if anyone's interested or knows a referral, there's an opportunity to get involved in that capacity on the library board. It's an exciting time, and we're working on our strategic plan, looking at how we can improve our service to the community moving forward. So if you know anyone who's interested, feel free to refer them to us.
Thank you.
Joe, can we put something in the next newsletter as far as meetings?
Sure, if you could,
Will we put something together?
yeah, it's gonna go out probably the second week of April, so if you could get it to me probably by the end of next week or so,
Yeah, have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Parking authority representative. Yep.
Well, we've made some personnel changes in the parking authority. The board has a new member. We're working hard to be transparent and do things according to the bylaws that were written in 1985. We're going to be making some changes to those also to bring them a little more current. Just some major changes like 2 signatures on every check now, and that wasn't in the past. We're just making some changes, and we'll have a budget for you within the next couple of months. This is a full-time job, guys, thanks.
No good deed goes unpunished.
No, but I'll tell you what, our meeting is next Monday night, and the reports that I'm getting from the employees there, the fines have increased, the payments have increased. He's moving in the right direction. We will not be end the year at $71,000 in the hole as was happened last year.
Yeah, and on top of that, I was talking with Deb before, a pretty active week in town with everything that went on over the weekend as well, so the parking lots were full. Any questions for Deb? Planning Commission, anybody? Anybody's here? She's on, okay. Thanks for that. Borough Manager, Joe Cowell.
A couple quick things for the month. The 2023 Borough Guide, the big newsletter, has been published and was mailed out a couple weeks ago. There's hard copies on that table over there if you didn't get one. Work at Triangle Park is substantially completed. They were reconstructing the sidewalks that weren't really wide in there, involving from trees. We had a tree that we had to take out that was in the way of some of the sidewalk work. We meet with the contractor later this week to get through some punch list items. Well, we're taking advantage of the park being closed. The road crew's going to fix the benches in the front. There's some little TLC we have to do. Some of it we can do with the weather being cool, but some we'll have to wait. But we're hoping to have the park all done hopefully by the end of the month, or early April. In line with the park, Public Art Bridgeville, that's the grassroots community organization that did the eight large sculptures throughout town for their sculpture exhibition. As many of us know, that those sculptures aren't permanent. They're on a 1-year lease. The program was successful enough to raise funds with Borough contributing and a bunch of other people contributing. That year 2 has been booked and is on track to be switched out later this month. So some of the sculptures you've seen already been removed, and over the next couple of weeks, the road crew and the PAB volunteers are making new slabs so that replacements can be swapped out by the time we come back here at our April meeting. So everyone knows that the guy sleeping in the park was removed for construction. The guy on the bench is going to be going by the end of the month, but there's a new guy on the bench coming. So I leave that up for that organization to explain, but it's pretty exciting. As the mayor said, there was 2 new businesses that opened up this month. One was a restaurant, and then there was a business office at 715 Washington Avenue. So this month we welcomed 2 new businesses to town. That's really it. If you have any questions on the report, I'm happy to answer, but thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions, Joe?
If I may. I met with Bitsy today, they're going to put another statue at the library. It's going to be a 20-foot chair.
Oh, you got the chair?
Oh, cool. Chair, yeah, we did. Met with them, they had to put the base in. So that's, I guess we'll be out there the next couple of weeks.
It's a pretty big piece. We were trying to figure out where that was going to.
Well, I guess we can start with that.
All right, good.
I'm gonna fill that seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can seat 2 people, right?
I think she's 20 foot tall. 5 foot wide, 20 foot tall.
Okay, under new business, I need to make a motion to amend the agenda to include an item. So that is in the form of a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to pay Jet Jack $83,830 for an emergency repair on Bluff and Center Street area.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Anything else under new business?
I want to say happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm the only one Italian guy with a green shirt. Anyway, happy Irish Day.
The Rotary's trivia night is April 1st, and we have 2 tables left. So anybody that is over 200 people already coming, so it's gonna be a fun night, and lots of good questions. I didn't do it for sure.
They're gonna be great then.
Yeah, that'd be really good this year.
No finance
You
question.
know what? I look forward to coming down and showing the house.
Anything else on the new business? No, adjourn. The motion to adjourn, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Adjourned.